Hey everybody, welcome to Dad Talk. Today we're at the Young Women's Leadership Summit for Turning Point USA in Dallas, Texas. And I am here with Miss Kari Lake. Kari, how you doing?
I'm so great, and I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yes, ma'am. So you are running for governor of Arizona?
I am. I announced about a week and a half ago, and I recently resigned from the media because it had become really unethical, and I just didn't feel good about it anymore. So I had 27 years in the media in Phoenix, Arizona. My last 22 years I spent as the main news anchor, the evening news anchor, #1 show, working with some really great people, but the media has just lost its way. And it got to the point, especially during COVID, where I felt like we were putting out fear, and the news we were putting out wasn't really news. It felt more like a way to keep people divided.
Right.
And I didn't feel good about it, and so I walked away. And now I'm running for governor.
There you go. That is definitely a big topic. I feel like the credibility in journalism has really just lost it. It doesn't seem like we have news anymore.
I know, it's sad. There's a lot of activism going on, and unfortunately, this activism, I think, is pushing some very anti-American sentiment. It's pushing sentiment that keeps us at each other's throats rather than trying to bring us together. And especially during COVID, I didn't think that the media was putting out helpful information to help us get through.
Right.
It was a lot of scare news. So I'm thrilled to be out of the media. And my next big thing is I'm running to be governor of Arizona. We are on the precipice of turning into California.
Right.
And I feel that I am the Republican who could win and then go on to beat the Democrat who's in the race. And I'm very worried about the Democrat running because she's kind of like a Gavin Newsom.
Okay.
And we don't need that in Arizona.
Right. And one of the big issues we talk about is the fatherless issue. I believe the breakdown of the nuclear family has been a target for quite some time now. But you got an interesting story. You was telling me that you were raised by your dad.
I was.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, my parents were divorced like many other families. We had a divorce in our family, and I was about 7. It was a long divorce. Back then in the 70s, things took a little bit longer.
Right.
But the judge granted my father custody. This was before I think they had figured out split custody, and there was a way to do that. I think back in the early 70s when divorces were going on, they just said, you're going to get it or you're going to get it. And he really struggled with that decision, the judge did. We heard many years later, somebody ran into him and he said, I struggled with that decision. We had 8 girls and 1 boy in my family.
Oh, wow.
And so my dad got custody. And I will tell you this and I love my mother. My mother was wonderful, God rest her soul. And both of my parents sadly are deceased. But as a woman, as a girl, it's so important to have a father in your life. I'm a big believer that moms play a critical role, especially in the first 4 or 5 years when you need that nurturing and that comfort of a mom. But after that, for a woman, for a girl, the dad is so critically important in a girl's life. Because if you don't have a dad, you're always kind of trying to define who you are as a woman. And dad helps define you. And without a dad in your life, you're kind of searching for that man to help define you.
Where do you think
all of my dear friends, I have a handful of really great friends, strong women. And it's funny, we all have similar dads, strong dads who love us deeply and taught us that we are good enough as we are. We don't have to search for that in a man. Yeah. And I love men. You heard my speech in there.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe you did. I don't know if you did.
Yeah. Where do you think your life would have went to if you wouldn't have had your father in your life?
Oh, my gosh. Do I even have to think of that?
No.
He was great because my dad was a high school teacher. He was a coach. He was a tough guy, but he was a loving guy. And we were raised in the 70s. Now it's, parents raise their kids with, you're amazing, you're the best. And when we were raised, it's like, you're okay, let's see what you can do. You had to prove yourself.
Right.
We didn't get that kind of constant praise. It was, go out and prove yourself, and then we give you praise. So that's kind of how we were raised. And I think that's a good way to be raised. You have to prove that you can do each and everything, and then we give you praise. We don't just heap praise on you for doing nothing.
Definitely. I love that. So what are some of the solutions that you're looking to bring to the state of Arizona to build up that nuclear family?
Well, family is very important, and we have a lot of issues, and I think we do things that make it harder to raise a family. I would like to make Arizona the most pro-family state, and we're working right now on the policy. We would like to, and we're playing with some policy ideas to encourage families, to encourage people to have babies. We want to be able to see mom or dad decide to stay home, maybe make it easier for one parent to stay home where you're not just having kids and putting them in daycare. Maybe give families some help so that mom can stay home, dad can work, vice versa, but at least have that nuclear family stay together. Because so often when you have a financial problem, one little financial problem, it causes such a rift in the family that they end up breaking up. And so we want to see families keeping together. We have a lot of policies we're working on, but at karilake.com, KARILAKE.com, and you'll see a lot more of our family policy coming together, and that'll be up very soon.
I know you just listed your website. Are you on any social media or anywhere that people can keep
Yes,
up?
I'm on Facebook. Well, hopefully I remain on there. You know how they're treating conservatives these days.
Oh, we're getting it pretty bad.
You are?
Oh yeah, so like we had Ted Nugent a couple of nights ago, and our page has 275,000 people on it. They sent it out to 600 people was our reach, and then we got like a thing for sensational content.
Because you had Ted Nugent on.
Well, because we had Ted Nugent, it's just not just Ted. Our ratings were doing really good, and then we went to CPAC, had Dr. Ben Carson, some of the
These
other
are great
people on it,
people.
and we just
Oh, no.
watched it.
Yeah.
You know, they're not pushing
They
it out there,
shadow
and
ban you.
unfortunately, they have the power to do that.
I know. We have to stop that. I really like what was going on in Florida, where if they're starting to ban, if the tech giants are banning people or keeping you from being able to exercise your freedom of speech, that they get fined.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Oh, I love it too. So
I like that idea. So it looks like your battery's going.
Yeah.
So yes, KariLake.com. On Facebook, I'm the Kari Lake. And on Twitter, I'm Kari Lake. And on Instagram, I'm Kari Lake.
All right. Sounds good, Carrie. It was so nice to meet you, and
nice
thank
to
you
meet
for
you.
what you're doing. And I'm glad to hear that story about your dad. And I'm sure there's other stories like that, and we got to get people to speak up about it.
Oh my gosh. Our men have been under attack. And I think raising a son, I don't want him growing up in a world where men are being attacked just for being men. It's wrong. We are in this together. We're partners in life. And I spoke about it to the young women in there. God made men strong, made men the way they are, and they're perfect the way they are. And God made women the way we are. We are doing the things that men can't do.
Right.
And you're doing the things that we can't do.
And that's okay.
That's perfect.
That's okay.
God made it perfect, didn't he?
He did.
We don't need to try to reinvent it.
That's right.
Nice to meet you.
It's so
Thanks
nice
for
to
having
meet
me
you.
on.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, guys.